what we have is amazing.
Yeah.
But I do not want to have everything decided for me. And I'm sorry if that scares you, but if you want to be with me, you're going to have to deal with that.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
We're not done.
I didn't know that.
Okay, then you're gonna have to understand that you're with a guy who's not gonna stop planning his future with you because he knows we're gonna end up together. And if that scares you, tough, because you're gonna have to deal with that.
Fine, I will.
Good, because I love you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I love you, too.
Well, that's the first time we've said that.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm gonna kiss you.
Well, you better.
By the end of the reruns of season 1, we started off season 2 in like a slingshot.
I imagine that a good portion of the audience that hadn't been following the show during the regular season decided to sample it, and it like took off all over again, and it became the #1 show on television that summer.
Check this out.
We knew it was popular. We knew people watched it. We didn't experience that, so the ratings were theoretical. They were numbers. And we knew it made the network happy, so that was good.
Audiences couldn't get enough of Friends.
I remember standing with David, the premiere of the 2nd season, having this feeling of, oh, other people are watching this in the country. Cool.
Your little men are gonna get scored on more times than your sister.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Which sister?
That's when we said it's no longer a satellite show. This is the anchor for Thursday night. This is the show that will kick off our era of must-see TV in the 90s.
Certainly, once it got underway, we realized there was a soap opera element to it, and I mean that in the best sense, and that you've got ongoing arcs and ongoing stories that you could invest in and care about.
What if I never find somebody? Or even worse, what if I already found her, but I dumped her because she pronounces it supposedly?
Chandler, come on. You're gonna find somebody.
How do you know that? How?
I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out.
It was as though Friends was one single organism consisting of 6 human beings. And it meant for almost an infinite number of combinations.
Ross and Rachel, and Monica and Chandler, and then a little bit of Joey and Rachel, and every time we kept turning it, that's why I think people kept coming back.
Whenever you watch that show, it was like a Rubik's Cube. Better yet, a toccata and fugue by Bach, where this instrument would come in, and then this would, and then this would play with this one, and this would play with that one. And no matter who you combined those people with, they always worked. Alone, in duets, in trios, all together in a sextet, no matter how you moved them around, it always worked. It was always funny.
What emerged was a wonderful sense of characters that loved each other, touched each other's lives, and always wildly funny.
I will have one. Yeah, I'm not gonna have one of those.
At the very beginning of the season, you talk about, you know, here's what we're gonna do. You know, we know at some point we're gonna get Ross and Rachel together this year.
David and Jennifer had this incredible affection for one another outside the characters, so that translated inside the characters.
I can't believe he did this.
Come on, Ross, remember back in college when he fell in love with Carol and bought her that ridiculously expensive crystal duck?
What did you just say?
I suppose any of the episodes that dealt with the mythology, the ongoing story of Ross and Rachel's relationship, always seemed to be the best ones because that was really the soul of that show.
Crystal duck.
The episode where Ross and Rachel have sex for the first time in the planetarium had one of the most controversial jokes ever on the show.
Oh, God. Oh, honey. Oh, that's okay.
What? Oh, no, you just rolled over the juice box.
And that was a very controversial joke.
Oh, thank God.
Actually, George F. Will devoted an entire column in the Washington Post to that joke specifically.
When we made the big decision to put Ross and Rachel together, the almost immediate reaction to it was, oh no, what have we done?
We got them together and knew instantly that it was much less fun.
It just seems to me, though, that if 2 people love each other and trust each other like we do, there's no reason to be jealous.
Now all the sexual tension is gone. Now the mystery of is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
There was more comedy in the conflict than there was in them being happy.
I think Marta and David and the writers just had a brilliant solution to them, and that was, even though we had gotten them together, we broke them up just as quickly as they got together.
Oh, maybe we should just take a break.
Okay, fine. You're right. Let's take a break. Let's cool off, okay? Let's get some frozen yogurt or something.
No. A break from us.
To tease everyone with Ross and Rachel for all that time masterfully. I got to enjoy that. And all the years I'd worked on it, you know, still really enjoyed coming to the table reads and, you know, seeing how the audience responded.
Gunther, please tell me you didn't say anything to Rachel about me and the girl from the copy place.
I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to?
You could just feel the audience getting very, very uncomfortable. They knew what was going to happen.
I made a mistake, okay?
A mistake? What were you trying to put it in? Her purse?
People were going, no, you got to stay with Ross. I mean, they were really, sometimes the people were upset that, you know, Ross and Rachel were going to break up.
They're gonna get through this, aren't they?
Yeah, come on, it's Ross and Rachel. They've got to.
What if they don't?
On show night, you'd have the audience telling you what's funny.
Can't wait to see you. Please don't hurt me.
And cut. Got it. When you've done a show in front of a live audience and the audience is hot, there's nothing that really replaces that experience in television. We used to look forward to it every week.
It was fascinating because, you know, audiences have a personality. Each Friday was slightly different. You'd have the audiences that knew these characters so well that they would laugh at the setup to a joke.
What's up?
It was truly amazing how many people would show up to fill the bleachers. You know, you're 20 years old, you're excited, you want to see these people. You're this far away from them. And as the years progressed, I always called it the Friends frenzy would begin.
You hear like the music and the guys warming up the crowd and everyone's loud and it's like crazy and you're just like, oh my God, and the adrenaline just goes through the roof.
The audience always responded to my arrival on set. Okay, well then bring her in. Every possible reaction that you could have imagined came from that audience, and it just kept coming and coming and coming.
It's theater for me. Every shoot night is opening night, and I love that more than anything else.
They love to see us flub. They love to see us, you know, I mean, and then it's great that we're there for one another. So a live audience is great.
I remember when we first got engaged.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard that story.
Oh, Dad, really, you don't need to
Well, I gotten Judy pregnant. I still don't know how that happened.
You don't know how that happened? Your dog thought my diaphragm was a chew toy. And you can tell right away if it works, and it's great to get huge laughs. And they got lots of them, and they got more and more laughs because we'd stay there till quite late, and they'd change the jokes and write more and more and more. And it was just wonderful.
We had a group of writers on stage at all times. We would all watch the scene. Then if something didn't work, it would be like, and we'd all be sitting in a corner somewhere and going, okay, all right, so what do we do about the blow to that scene? And what about this line? And did they understand that? And we would rewrite it on the spot and like run over to the actors and say, okay, these are the new lines. And they would, okay. And then we'd go back and we'd try it again.
It sounds like it's hard, right? Just to come up with a joke in the moment like that. It's way harder on the actors because they have no time to try to do this right. But the cast of Friends was obviously superstars at it.
We couldn't walk away from, and sometimes probably should have, a joke that just didn't seem funny enough.
There was one time in the episode, the one where Paul's the man, where Ross, we're making out.
Yeah, I was just thinking about your father.
And my scripted line was, you know, something like, oh, you know, don't worry about that. And we shot one take, and then David Crane came up to me and whispered in my ear,
Just thinking about your father.
"Well, whatever works for you." Nobody else knew that I was gonna say this line, and it killed, and that's what ended up in the show.
We're changing this beat, and in the scene where I'm trying to get him to talk dirty.
Say something hot.
David said, I'm gonna be kind of struggling to find the word, so if you kind of urge me on.
What?
I think I ended up saying, yeah, and then he comes out with that ridiculous word.
Vulva.
And that was definitely David's suggestion.
We were crazily lucky with our guest stars.
Everybody, this is Parker. Parker, this...
No, wait, don't tell me. Let me guess. Joey, Monica, Ross, Rachel, and I'm sorry Phoebe didn't mention you. Chandler, I'm kidding already, you're my favorite.
You'd look at the call sheet and go, this is nuts. This is like a movie, but it's our show.
Is this Gary Oldman across the table from me at the table read? He's appearing on Friends. Are you kidding me?
I'm wearing 2 belts. Are you drunk? No. Yes, you are. No.
There were so many great actors on the show, and I was in awe many, many, many times.
Aren't you a little old to be wearing a dress like that?
Don't you have a little too much penis to be wearing a dress like that?
Our greatest allies in getting stunt casting was their children. Their children would actually bother them. Why aren't you on that show?
You'd write a part, because we didn't write for guest stars. We would write parts.
Would you slap me? Would you slap me right here in the face?
I'd love to, but my lawyer said I can't do that anymore.
People always say, you know, does this show reflect the culture, or does the culture determine what's on the show?
I think Friends sort of reflected the sort of speed of the times. It was quick, witty.
But do I want that house in Connecticut, you know, near the good schools where Mike and I could send little Sophie and Mike Jr.? Oh my God, I do.
Really? I had no idea you were so conventional.
I know, I guess I am. Oh my God, load up the Volvo. I want to be a soccer mom.
One of the great examples of how television can influence style, and that is the Rachel.
It was like a sensation. People were asking for the Rachel haircut. If there's any indication that you're affecting pop culture, I think it's when you start a haircut.
I don't think since Farrah Fawcett on Charlie's Angels had we had a single hairstyle that a television show had penetrated the culture.
I remember there was one scene that took place in the laundromat. I put her in a capri pant, which there were no capris happening at that time. I remember the response from the public was, capris are happening. And I remember thinking, wow, that is so amazing. Because for me, it was just taking a piece of history and making it look great for the scene. And the world looked at it like, wow, she looks great in those capris. I'm gonna get some capris. I'm gonna cut my jeans off.
There was a lot of stuff that we did that just got out there. I remember I wrote a Vegas episode, and there was an old woman who would wait around for when she gave up on a slot machine and then go in there thinking it was ready to bust. And that was a storyline, and I was like, there's gotta be a name for that, right? And nobody had any name for it. I was like, that doesn't help me. So I was like, I guess I'll just make it up.
I'll bet she's one of those people.
More people?
What? No, a lurker.
Oh, what's a lurker?
Okay, when you're playing a machine and it hasn't paid out, a lurker waits for you to give up and then...
Kills you?
No, they swoop in and steal your jackpot.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
A couple, 3 years later, I was actually in Vegas, and there were these young girls. I was at a table, and they were behind me, and they were like, "Okay, I'm gonna go lurk at those slot machines over there, and you guys go lurk at these ones over here, because I think we can win." And I was like,
Get out of here, you lurker! Go on, get!
From the beginning, we have had the most amazing writers helping us with the show. I mean,
We've had a writer's room from day 2.
you talk about luck, because when you're hiring writers, you don't you don't know. You read their scripts, you can like the material on the page, you meet them once, they seem like nice people. You don't know, I mean, what you're gonna get. You're gonna be spending 12, 14, 18 hours in a room with these people, and you don't know what it's gonna be.
And as much as their talents as writers, part of what you're hiring is who can I spend 18 hours in a room with?
Part of it grows out of, you've got 12 people just talking. Just like before we start work, they're talking, and there'll be a topic that comes up about relationships, and someone will offer a story, and people were very generous about just sharing stuff out of their lives.
Some of the stories that we came up with were directly out of our lives. I mean, they definitely were. Things in the pilot were things that we'd experienced.
Anything that happens anywhere in your life that's funny, you just file it, and then you can pull it back up when you're in the room and you need a joke or you're writing or whatever. But yeah, that's where most of it comes from.
The Taylor episode, someone came in and was just sharing a story about something with the tailor, and everybody went, that's not how you do it.
He ran his hand up my leg, and then there was definite... What? Cupping. That's how they do pits.
Yes, it is. In prison.
That cast, they can make lines funny that were never meant to be funny. I never meant them to be funny when I wrote them. Matthew Perry, I used to write the word okay, and that's it for him. And how many times he would get huge laughs just saying okay.
Hi, I'm Ross's little sister.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It was unbelievable, and he did it every time.
I was in awe because I'd never really worked on a sitcom that was so well written and so carefully written.
We write for us and for the writer's room and for making ourselves laugh and writing and making up stories that we'd want to watch.
Yeah. What happens is we break stories as a room. We'll come up with the idea, and then we'll put it on a whiteboard every scene and talk about what happens in every scene, and then it gets assigned to a writer, and that writer would go off and write the entire script themselves.
I think our job, as much as it was to come up with things, was to say, okay, that's really funny, but we're not going to go down that road. Let's go down that road.
And then the room would go through and rewrite it, adding jokes and punching it up and making cuts, because usually they come in long.
I'm the Holiday Armadillo! I'm a friend of Santa's, and he sent me here to wish you a Merry Christmas!
No one was interested in writing the Holiday Armadillo. Like, it reeked of a flop, right? And so I kind of I was presented with the choice of either I put us behind schedule for another week to 2 weeks to come up with a new one, or I just go off and just write this thing. And so I said, we can't afford the time and the schedule. I said, fine, I'll just write it.
Wow, thanks! You're welcome, Ben. Merry Christmas. Ooh, and Happy Hanukkah!
It was a weird episode, but it's fun, and it airs every Christmas, and people seem to like it.
What are you doing here, weird turtle man?
I'm the Holiday Armadillo, your part Jewish friend.
It turned out well, but we did it, and we didn't fall behind schedule. That's the most important thing.
I have many, many favorite moments. When we did the episode where Matthew was confronting me about cheating on him with my husband, and I was hyperventilating into a paper bag, he grabbed it hard and it popped the way a paper bag can pop. And we didn't expect it to happen. I hid inside the paper bag so that you could not see me because I was about to just crack up laughing. So we had some really, really great times.
My favorite episode was when Rachel's dad shows up.
First you got my Rachel pregnant?
You got Rachel pregnant?
Who did?
You did!
Yes.
David's in the middle, and he's yelling, and I'm yelling, and that's how I find out.
I love Rachel.
What?
Oh, but not that way. I mean, I'm not in love with her. I love her like a friend.
Oh, really? That's how you treat a friend? You get her in trouble, and then you refuse to marry her?
Hey, I offered to marry her, but I didn't want to.
I still watch that, and I laugh out loud. I thought he was so brilliant.
No, I need to lie down.
I liked the episode where Elliot and I had sex in the bathroom and Courtney was in the shower.
Oh, Jack, stop!
Come on. It's my birthday.
producers liked it that Elliot and I seemed as if we had created a nice, intimate marriage. They said they could imagine us making love.
The episode that I believe Ross was trying to get an apartment from a woman from the Netherlands, so he wanted to pretend like he was from the Netherlands.
Bedankt voor de koffie, Gunther.
Je spreekt Nederlands. Dat is te gek. Heb je familie daar?
Yeah, we're done.
Ezel.
Ezel. Ezel. Ezel.
The Dutch episode was voted in the Netherlands by the viewers in a national poll their favorite episode ever of Friends.
You're an ezel.
Jij hebt seks met ezels.
Which is, you have sex with donkeys.
Pivot, pivot, pivot. One of the, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard.
Here we go, pivot! 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 Pivot!
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
That and the game show they did with each other when they traded apartments.
What name appears on the address label?
Oh, Chandler gets it! It's Chandler Bing! No!
I'm afraid the TV guide comes to Chenandler Bong.
Actually, it's Miss Chenandler Bong.
Nobody knew what Chandler did for a job.
Oh, he's a trans monster! That's not even a word!
When Phoebe is saying goodbye to the triplets.
Oh my God.
Everyone said labor was the hardest thing I'd ever have to do, but they were wrong, Mrs.
It was unbelievable. It was just, you were just holding your breath.
Well, I had the most fun with you guys. And I wish I could take you home and see you every day, but... Okay, I'll settle for being your favorite aunt. I know Alice's sister has a pool, but you lived in me.
Love the Thanksgiving episodes. I don't know why, but for some reason that was our holiday, and
Rosh Hashanah wasn't available.
Not so much.
The Thanksgiving show with the football was probably the biggest challenge in terms of a show that took place entirely in the studio.
You want to go shotgun?
Yeah.
We created a pocket park in Manhattan where you're looking into the center of the block, and we built all the apartment buildings that kind of backed up to it and were on either side of it.
We took the entire audience, all 400 people, moved them from one sound stage across the street to the other one, reseated them, and then finished up the show.
I was like the Pied Piper, where I had to take the whole audience from 24 and parade them over to sit in old-fashioned bleachers.
You know, Rachel, funny thing. Actually, the end zone starts at that pole, so you're 5 feet short, so we win.
You know, I had actually production friends call, hey, where was that park with the football episode? We have something similar we'd like to use.
If nobody tagged Rachel, then isn't the play still going?
That just turned out great.
One memory in particular is the episode of the wedding in London.
It's a really exciting thing to go to another country and see your show there.
When we were shooting that scene with Richard Branson at this tower bridge, we were surrounded, and the security people were actually concerned. It felt like the Beatles more than a TV show.
The most interesting piece that we had to do was the old church that was being destroyed, that they decided to go ahead and have the wedding in anyway. I thought that set turned out very romantic and very, very pretty.
It's like a fairyland.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
Well, I love it. Oh, I only hope my wedding looks this good.
I just hope.
You can let some of them go by.
We never knew how it was going to end. We struggled with it, and we couldn't figure it out. And then there was one time at a taping where David Schwimmer walked in the room. What he was supposed to say was, I have the cab waiting downstairs, Emily. But he walked in and said, I have the cab waiting, Rachel. Oh, shoot, sorry, let me start again. And he ran back out, and we kind of went, that's what should happen.
Ross. Take the Emily. Take the Rachel. Emily.
But it just happened because David flubbed his line.
And that's when they gave me at 4 o'clock in the morning that great line. This is worse than when he married a lesbian. That's fun, you know, creating on the spot.
My mother's right.
Never gonna get married.
You know what that is? Who wouldn't want you?
The Monica Chandler thing scared us like you wouldn't believe.
You're always afraid of sort of jumping the shark. You're always afraid of, you've only got 6 friends, and now you've got 2 more of them together? I mean, are there no other people in the world? The idea was just, oh, it's a fling, and then it's about how do they deal with having had a fling.
I remember being in London and Matthew and I talking about how long do you think the audience reaction will last after we reveal Monica in that bed? And I said, God, I don't know, it's maybe 20 seconds, I think. And he said, I bet it's a minute. And I said, okay.
You think you knew I was here?
He was right. It was so long. It was so long.
All of us listening to the screaming, and that's when we went, all right, maybe it's not just a fling. Maybe that's a story.
We kept writing it, and we kept coming up with more and more ideas of what would happen if they were together. It just was so great, and it kept giving us so much stuff, and the colors Courtney got to play and the stuff Matthew got to play and doing it. It was just, it was, you know, it was like magical from a story standpoint.
Will you marry me?
Yes.
Friends managed to take a very intelligent look at life and love and friendship, and it never really dumbed it down.
The audience grew up with it. They got closer to where they felt more comfortable that they were really part of it, that it was an extension of their life.
We knew these characters. We were able to inhabit the whole series. And then I think another thing that we did right is we let the series begin to tell us what it wanted.
It's hard for me to believe someone else isn't going to take you away. Yeah.
There are so many moments I look back on that just make me happy and a little teary in a good way.
Oh, I love that journey that we went on, the emotional journey.
Once you go into a season and you know at the beginning, this is definitely going to be the last season of the show, I think it starts to change everything.